In most D&D campaigns, the party does a lot of traveling, often coming across different cultures. Having knowledge of others' cultures, customs, philosophies, laws, rituals, art, languages, and religious beliefs is a must. What might be common for you might not be for other cultures. So stay with us as we build a second member of the Tiefling Party, the Wandering Physician. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another enlightened episode of The Dungeon Crashers. I'm Guy.
And I'm Sapil. Before we get started, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our exciting D&D content. Today we will be building the second member of the Tiefling Party. We are using different lineages for each of the members, so for this build we will be using the Furnia lineage. Furnia is the ruler of the layer of the Nine Hells called Felagos. She is considered to be a master manipulator, and those of her lineage are said to have forceful personalities and very wise. They get a +1 to wisdom, and they have the legacy of Plegathos. From the legacy, they begin play with the Friends cantrip. At 3rd level, they get Charm Person they can cast once per long rest, and at 5th level, they get Suggestion they can cast once per long rest. They also have some common traits all tieflings get. They get a +2 to charisma. They are medium-sized and have a walking speed of 30 feet. They get dark vision out to 60 feet, and they have hellish resistance, making them resistant to fire. For languages, they can speak, read, and write Common and Infernal. Using the point buy system, we put an 8 on Strength. This is going to be a dex-based character, so Strength isn't needed. We put a 14 on Dexterity. This is going to be the main stat for a lot of abilities, so it will be improved later in this build. We put a 13 on Constitution. We will be taking a feat later to round it up to 14. We put a 10 on Intelligence. We would like this to be higher, but we can make up for that with the skills we take. We put a 15 on Wisdom, making it 16 with the +1 from the racial bonus. This is the main casting stat and will help us with armor. Last, we put a 12 on Charisma, making it 14 with the +2 from the racial bonus. This will help with the DC for her racial spells since she will be using them often. For our heroine, she was born on the road. Her parents loved to travel to distant lands to learn the cultures of many different races. She was never good at studying. Instead, she preferred to interact with people on different cultures to learn more about them. She found she had a knack for it, and she could blend in with the locals, often being mistaken for one.
For the background, we found one in the Tomb of Annihilation, the Anthropologist. He gives 2 skills, Insight and Religion. We're going to modify it a little and take Perception instead of Insight. Sadly, you don't get tool proficiencies, but you get 2 languages of your choice. We went with Goblin since you'll run into them often on our travels, and Elvish. There are 2 main features in this background. The first is Cultural Chameleon. Before becoming an adventurer, you spend much of your adult life away from your homeland, living among people different from your kin. You come to understand these foreign cultures and the ways of their people, who eventually treated you as one of their own. One culture had more of an influence on you than any other, shaping your beliefs and customs. Choose a race whose culture you've adopted. The second feature is Adept Linguist. You can communicate with humanoids who don't speak any language you know. You must observe the humanoids interacting with one another for at least a day, after which you learn a handful of important words, expressions, and gestures, enough to communicate on a rudimentary level. After many years of travel with her parents, it was getting time for her to set out on her own adventures. One day they come across an old temple. It fascinated our hero. The architecture of the old building was like nothing she'd ever seen before. The monks there were kind and friendly. They welcomed our hero and her family with open arms. While staying with the monks, she learned to bring aid to those in need. It changed her outlook on life, so she decided to stay and study the path of the Wandering Physician. At 1st level, she takes Monk. She gets 2 skills, History and Stealth. She gets Unarmored Defense. While not wearing armor or wielding a shield, her armor class is equal to 10 plus Dexterity and Wisdom modifiers. She also gets Martial Arts. Her practice of martial arts gives her mastery of combat styles that use unarmed strikes and monk weapons, which are short swords and any simple melee weapons that don't have the two-handed or heavy property. She gains the following benefits while she is unarmed or wielding only monk weapons, and she isn't wearing armor or wielding a shield. She can use Dexterity instead of Strength for the attack and damage rolls of her unarmed strikes and monk weapons. She can roll a d4 in place of the normal damage of her unarmed strike or monk weapon, and this die changes as she gains monk levels. When she uses the attack action with an unarmed strike or monk weapon on her turn, she can make 1 unarmed strike as a bonus action. One day the temple had a visitor. The head monk introduced him as a cleric, and our hero could learn much from him. He could teach her magic that could aid her in her travels while healing the injured. So at second level, she takes first level Cleric. She gets her Divine Domain and takes Peace. She gets 2 domain spells, Heroism and Sanctuary. They are prepared for free and don't count against the number of spells she can prepare a day. From Peace Domain, she gets Implement of Peace, letting her choose one skill from Insight, Performance, or Persuasion, and she takes Persuasion. She has a good Charisma score, so might as well use it. She also gets from the Peace Domain Emboldening Bond. As an action, she can choose a number of willing creatures within 30 feet of her, including herself, equal to her proficiency bonus. She creates a magical bond among them for 10 minutes or until she uses this feature again. While any bonded creature is within 30 feet of another, the creature can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw it makes. Each creature can add the d4 no more than once per turn. She can use this feature a number of times equal to her proficiency bonus, and she regains all expended uses when she finishes a long rest. Clerics are prepared casters and can prepare a number of spells equal to their wisdom modifier plus her cleric level, so 4 to start. She gets 3 cantrips known and 2 first level spell slots. For the cantrips, take Guidance, Sacred Flame, and Toll the Dead. For the prepared spells, she takes Bless, Healing Word, Guiding Bolt, and Shield of Faith. Shield of Faith is a great spell since it grants +2 armor class for the duration, and she'll need all the armor class she can get. At third level, she takes second level Cleric. She gets Channel Divinity. It starts with 2 effects. The first is Turn Undead, and the second is from her Peace Domain, called Balm of Peace. As an action, she can move up to her speed without provoking opportunity attacks, and when she moves within 5 feet of any other creature during this action, she can restore a number of hit points to that creature, equal to 2d6 plus her wisdom modifier, with a minimum of 1 hit point. A creature can receive this healing only once whenever you take this action. For her spells, she gets another spell she can prepare, and another first level spell slot. For the prepared spell, she takes Detect Magic. As wandering healers, Mercy Monks wear a mask to identify themselves and conceal their identity. This is especially useful for a tiefling because she won't distress patients who might fear her infernal heritage. She chooses a raven mask as it has a history of being used by those who treat sufferers of plague and sufferers of battle.
Our hero had trained with the cleric for about a year when she first heard about the Caves of Chaos. They piqued her interest since they are said to lead to a long-lost civilization. So she gathered up her gear and said goodbye to the cleric and the other monks at the temple and set off to find adventure. Near the Caves of Chaos there was a keep, with a small town and an inn. It would take her a week's journey to get there, but the time flew by because she was excited to explore the caves. When she reached the keep, she made her way to the inn to rest up and resupply. There she met another tiefling. She is of the Despater lineage, and she is here to explore the caves as well. They decide to work together, and they start planning their next move. Now she is going to go back to Monk for a while. At 4th level, she takes 2nd level of Monk. She gets her key points. She can spend these points to fuel various key features. When she spends a key point, it is unavailable until she finishes a short or long rest, so the cat nap from the previous build will help quite nicely. At the end of which she can draw all of her expended ki back to herself. She must spend at least 30 minutes of the rest meditating to regain her key points. Some of her key features require the target to make a saving throw to resist the feature's effects. The saving throw DC is 8 plus her proficiency bonus plus her wisdom modifier. She starts knowing 3 such features. First is Flurry of Blows. Immediately after taking the attack action on her turn, she can spend 1 key point to make 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action. Second is Patient Defense. She can spend 1 key point to take the dodge action as a bonus action on her turn. And third is Step of the Wind. She can spend 1 key point to take the disengage or dash action as a bonus action on her turn, and her jump distance is doubled for the turn. She also gets unarmored movement. Her speed is increased by 10 feet while she is not wearing armor or wielding a shield. There's an optional feature at this level called the Dedicated Weapon. Whenever she finishes a short or long rest, she can touch one weapon, focus her key on it, and then count that weapon as a monk weapon until she uses this feature again. The chosen weapon must meet these certain criteria. The weapon must be a simple or martial weapon, she must be proficient with it, and it must lack the heavy and special properties. At 5th level, she takes 3rd level of Monk. She gets Deflect Missiles. She can use her reaction to deflect or catch the missile when she is hit by a ranged weapon attack. When she does so, the damage she takes from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus her dexterity modifier plus her Monk level. If she reduces the damage to 0, she can catch the missile if it is small enough to be held in one hand and she has at least one hand free. If she catches the missile in this way, she can spend 1 key point to make a ranged attack with a range of 20 short, 60 long, using the weapon or piece of ammunition she just caught, as part of the same reaction. She makes this attack with proficiency, regardless of her weapon proficiencies, and the missile counts as a monk weapon for the attack. She also gets her monastic tradition at this level, and she takes Way of the Mercy. She gets 2 abilities, and first is Hands of Healing. As an action, she can spend 1 key point to touch a creature and restore a number of hit points equal to a roll of her martial arts die plus her wisdom modifier. When she uses her flurry of blows, she can replace one of the unarmed strikes with the use of this feature without expending a key point for the healing. The second is Hands of Harm. When she hits a creature with an unarmed strike, she can spend 1 key point to deal extra necrotic damage equal to 1 roll of her martial arts die plus her wisdom modifier, and she can use this feature only once per turn. When she combines these 2 features with the Balm of Peace, she can move around any fight, healing allies and dealing damage to the enemy.
After a few attempts to explore the Caves of Chaos, they realize that they need more members in the party. One night, 2 tieflings enter the inn. The first was a woman of considerable height, easily over 6 foot tall. Her blue skin and horns mark her as a tiefling of the line of Levistus. She was armored in breastplate and armed with a spear. The woman accompanying her is just as interesting. She is shorter than the other tiefling, but looked just as strong. Her skin is the color of the sky just before light leaves it to begin the night. After much discussion, the 4 tieflings decide to work together to explore the caves. It would be much easier now there are 4 of them, and they could stay in the caves longer to investigate. At 6th level, she takes 4th level of Monk, getting an ability booster feat, and she's going to take the Infernal Constitution feat. It's a feat that only tieflings can get. It gives her +1 to Constitution, making it 14. She gets resistance to cold and poison damage, and she has advantage on saving throws against being poisoned. And from Monk, she gets Slow Fall. She can use her reaction when she falls to reduce any falling damage she takes by an amount equal to 5 times her monk level. There is another optional ability at this level called Quicken Healing. She can spend 2 key points and roll a martial arts die. She regains a number of hit points equal to the number rolled plus her proficiency bonus. With the aid of the 2 new companions, they are able to explore more of the caves. They appear like an elaborate series of goblin lairs. They battle goblins, hobgoblins, and bugware, as well as gnolls and ogres. Eventually, after fighting their way deep into the caves, they find the true danger here, a cult of demon-worshipping priests and their twisted followers. A lot of healing is needed before the battle is finished, and our heroes push to her limits. After it's all over, they recover as much gold and jewels as they can carry, and also the object of the cult's devotion, an artifact consecrated to the demon Lolth. It contains great magical power, and our heroes want to see it either locked away or destroyed. At 7th level, she takes 5th level of Monk. She gets extra attack, allowing her to attack twice instead of once when she takes an attack action. She also gets Stunning Strike. When she hits another creature with a melee weapon attack, she can spend 1 key point to attempt a Stunning Strike. The target must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or be stunned until the end of her next turn. Her martial arts dice improves from D4s to D6s at this level. They had returned to the inn to store their gold and resupply. It would be a few days before everything would be ready. She takes her free time to wander around the town meeting the locals. Most are adventurers like herself, while others are farmers or general laborers. She finds a small clinic and volunteers to help with the sick and wounded. On the last night before they are to go back into the caves, the town's alarm bells ring. The goblins are attacking the keep. Our hero and her party rush to aid in the defense. When they returned, they found all of their rooms had been ransacked and the artifact had been taken. One of the other tieflings in the party learns that the goblins took the artifact and fled to a hill giant steading to the north. They decide to put exploring the caves on hold and pursue the goblins. At 8th level, she takes 6th level Monk. She gets key-empowered strikes. Her unarmed strikes count as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. From Way of the Mercy, she gets Physician's Touch. When she uses Hands of Healing on a creature, she can also end one disease or one of the following conditions affecting the creature: blinded, deafened, paralyzed, poisoned, or stunned. When she uses Hands of Harm on a creature, she can subject that creature to the poison condition until the end of her next turn. Her unarmored movement increases by 5 feet, making it 15 feet.
One night on their journey to the hill giant steading, they happened to run across another tiefling that was camping near the steading. She is after information about the hill giants being in league with some greater evil, and she wants to expose those schemes. They decide to join together and attack the steading in force. At 9th level, she takes 7th level of Monk, getting evasion. When she is subjected to an effect that allows her to make a dexterity saving throw to only take half damage, she instead takes no damage if she succeeds on the saving throw, and only half damage if she fails. She also gets stillness of mind. She can use her action to end one effect on herself that is causing her to be charmed or frightened. At 10th level, she takes 8th level of Monk, getting an ability booster feat, and she's going to improve her dexterity to 16. This will help with her armor class and her other dex-based abilities. At 11th level, she takes 9th level of Monk. Her unarmored movement improves, but she doesn't get extra distance. She gains the ability to move along vertical surfaces and across liquids on your turn without falling during the move. Our hero and her party slip into the steading with the cover of night. They knew fighting too many hill giants at once would become deadly, so they made their way to the chieftain's chambers. Luckily, the chieftain was asleep, and they were able to capture him easily. He didn't have the artifact, but gave them information about his plans with the Jarl of the Frost Giants, and the goblins had taken the artifact to them. He gives them gold and jewels to spare his life. Our heroes take it and make a hastily exit, now journeying farther north to the Ice Giant's home. At 12th level, she takes 10th level of Monk. She gets Purity of Body, making her immune to disease and poison. Her unarmored movement increases by 5 feet, making it 20 feet. At 13th level, she takes 11th level of Monk. From Way of Mercy, she gets Flurry of Healing and Harm. When she uses her Flurry of Blows, she can now replace each of the unarmed strikes with the use of her Hands of Healing without expending key points for the healing. In addition, when she makes an unarmed strike with Flurry of Blows, she can use Hands of Harm with that strike without expending a key point for it. She can still use Hands of Harm only once per turn. Also, her martial arts die improves from a d6s to d8s.
Once they reach the Frost Giant's fortress, it takes them many weeks of repeated attacks to defeat the Jarl and his forces. Once again, the goblins had fled with the artifact, and with the trail running cold, one of the other party members finds a magic item. It is an iron chain, and when they used legend lore on it, they found it could create a one-way gate to a volcano that houses the Hall of the Fire Giant King. They all agreed that the goblins used the chain to go there, and they must follow. At 14th level, she takes 12th level of Monk, getting an ability booster feat, and she's going to use it to make her Wisdom 18. This will help with her armor class and her spell attack, and save DCs. Also, since she increased her Wisdom, she can prepare one more Cleric spell as well. At 15th level, she takes 3rd level Cleric. From Peace Domain, she gets 2 domain spells, Aid and Warding Bond. They are prepared for free and don't count against the number of spells she can prepare a day. For spells, she can prepare another spell of 2nd level, another 1st level spell slot, and 2 2nd level spell slots. For the prepared spell, she takes Hold Person. At 16th level, she takes 4th level Cleric, getting an ability booster feat, and she's going to use it to cap her Wisdom at 20. Again, this will help her armor class, spell attack, and save DCs. For spells, she gets another cantrip known, and since we boosted her Wisdom, she can prepare 2 spells, and she gets another 2nd level spell slot. For the cantrip, she takes Word of Radiance, and for the prepared spells, she takes Lesser Restoration and Prayer of Healing. The halls of the Fire Giant King were the most perilous by far. They even had to face a red dragon. In the end, they were victorious and got a long-deserved rest. They found out that the Fire Giants are in league with the Drow Elves of the Underdark, and the goblins had taken the artifact there. There is an entrance to the Underdark beneath the halls, so our hero and her party venture forward into the Underdark. At 17th level, she takes 5th level Cleric. She gets Destroy Undead. When an undead fails its saving throw against her Turn Undead feature, the creature is instantly destroyed if its challenge rating is at or below CR 1/2. From Peace Domain, she gets 2 more domain spells, Beacon of Hope and Sending. They are prepared for free and they don't count against the number of spells she can prepare a day. She can prepare another spell of 3rd level, and she gets 2 3rd level spell slots. For the prepared spells, she takes Mass Healing Word.
The passage into the Underdark was fraught with peril. They were constantly fighting a race of fish-like humanoids, and they even came across a drow vampire and his succubus lover. They gave the party information about the drow city farther below. The party spared their lives and continued to move forward. At 18th level, she takes 6th level of Cleric. From her Peace domain, she gets Protective Bond. When a creature affected by her Emboldening Bond feature is about to take damage, a second bonded creature within 30 feet of the first can use its reaction to teleport to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the first creature. The second creature then takes all the damage instead. Her Channel Divinity improves. Now she can use it 2 times before she takes a short or long rest. At 19th level, she takes 7th level of Cleric. From Peace domain, she gets 2 more domain spells, Aura of Purity and Oluk's Resilient Sphere, prepared for free, and they don't count against the number of spells she can't prepare a day. For spells, she gets another spell she can't prepare a day of 4th level and 1 4th level spell slot. For the prepared spell, she takes Banishment. After fighting and defeating the Drow Matron, our heroes learn that the goblins have evaded them once again and fled to the abyssal realm of Lolth, the queen of the demon web pits and the goddess of the Drow. Undaunted, our heroes vow to continue their quest to destroy the demon goddess and to recover the artifact and finally bring the goblins to justice. At 20th level, she takes 8th level of Cleric, getting an ability booster feat, and she's going to use it to boost her dexterity to 18. This will make her armor class 19 and improve her other dex-based abilities. For spells, she gets another spell she can't prepare a day and 1 more 4th level spell slot. For the prepared spell, she takes Divination.
Like the previous build, this is a great support character, but can also deal considerable damage when she needs to. She will be using either her Hands of Healing or Hands of Harm all the time when she can use them without expending a key point. Until then, she will use them wisely. She can heal as well as protect her allies with Emboldening Bond and Protective Bond. I'd say her only drawbacks are her armor class. It's a little low for a frontline fighter, but with Shield of Faith she can stay in the fight longer. Also, she only gets 2 uses of her Channel Divinity a day, so she has to choose when she uses her Balm of Peace.
Yeah.
Now, if you like this video, let us know in the comment section below, as well as any questions, comments, and build requests. Join us next week when we continue with the Tiefling party with a Paladin that I think might be one of the strongest martial characters we've ever made.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And until next time, cheers.
Cheers.